Welcome to Fool's Key Tarot. I'm Ben, and this is a daily reading for Sunday, June 15th, 2025. Let's see what the cards have in store for us. First, I'm going to draw a card for the past. We have the Five of Cups reversed. Next, the present. We have Strength reversed. And then the future. The Knight of Wands in reverse. So a day of all reversals. So it could be an interesting day for sure. Let's begin with the past and read forward through time. So it looks like there is a loss or disappointment in your past that is affecting you today. You're remembering it, or you're still not over it, and it's continuing to eat at your mind or take up your thoughts. And I think if this card is coming up in today's reading, the loss was in the past. And even if you've continued to think about it or mourn over this loss, I think something is going to happen today that brings it to the surface, to the top of your mind. So more than just the normal background space that it has been taking up, if it's been continuous since it happened, it's not just another day of feeling sad or lost over this thing. Something will happen today, I think, that reminds you of it or brings your thoughts to the very front of your mind or takes up a larger amount of your day or energy than usual. So this loss was in the past, but it's going to come up today. And maybe it's something you haven't thought about in some time, in which case today will be the day that it pops back into your mind. But definitely a sense of never have really gotten over it. The Five of Cups upright represents the grieving process and taking the time to grieve and then move on. And so with the reversal, there's a suggestion that the process never completed. Maybe you never properly digested the loss or really thought through it. Maybe you kind of stuffed your feelings down and they kind of bubble up every once in a while, and today's going to be one of those days. Maybe it's something that you just never figured out, and so it continues to eat at you because there hasn't been a resolution or closure over this. So somehow this grieving process has been interrupted. Another possibility is that you never really grieved. You just didn't let yourself feel it at all. And so maybe you suffered a loss that you felt like you took in stride and didn't bother you at all. But maybe deep down it did bother you. And you've been denying that feeling. But today, perhaps that feeling will burst its way out or bubble to the surface. So let's look at the present to see what's happening. So with strength reversed, it suggests being overpowered by some kind of instinct or temptation or urge. And so it looks like because of the way that grief is resurfacing and asserting itself into your life in a way that maybe you didn't want it to or thought you were past, I think that's going to cause you to have a strong urge or impulse to do something that might be self-destructive or destructive to somebody around you. So maybe you want to get revenge for this loss. Maybe you want to try to grab it back. Maybe there is a person who played a role and you want to lash out at them and say something bad to them or mean to them or do something upsetting to them to get even or just to display your sadness or even anger at the loss. There's definitely a sense with the Strength card of anger and also display and show, in the particular sense of something powerful that is caged but is being shown off or demonstrated, but in a restrained way. So maybe you want to demonstrate to other people how upset you are or what your true feelings are. And so maybe you're going to lash out to do that and somehow make it known what your feelings are. And maybe you kind of know that this is a gut reaction that might not be healthy for you or for other people, but you find yourself wanting to do it anyways based on this resurfacing or some kind of coming back from the past, a loss or a disappointment. And so that could lead to this urge. And based on your troubled feelings and having never really resolved this grief, and then also with the Knight of Wands in the future being reversed, it does look like the way that things are currently aligned, you're headed for an unfortunate situation where you rush forward acting on this instinct or this urge and do something that you regret or that hurts other people around you or even yourself. Not intentionally. You're not trying to really hurt anyone or do anything horrible. There's just some amount of lashing out or anger or sadness that you want to display or put out into the world. And that can be a really healthy thing. I'm not trying to suggest that you shouldn't show your anger or sadness, but in particular here, because of the unresolved grief and because of the strength reversed, I think that there might be an unhealthy or destructive way that this is going to come out or wants to come out, and your part of you knows to try to keep it inside, not to bottle up the feeling forever, but to find a more constructive and healthy way to express it. But with the current alignment of these cards, it looks like you're more on a path to give in and to do something rash. And that might burn a bridge or create a change in a relationship or your situation that you didn't intend. So there could be some consequence to you lashing out or displaying anger that you didn't want to happen. You're just trying to express your feelings over this unresolved issue from the past, but it might end up causing somebody else to do something that surprises you and that really shifts things in a way that you didn't want, and is worse. So there could be a lot of unintended consequences to what it is that you kind of feel like you want to do. And so you definitely need to find a way to work through your guilt and express these feelings, because the Five of Cups is the grieving process done correctly, which can take time, and its reversal suggests that you're still on that journey. And as long as you have not yet completed this process or worked through it in a good way, it's going to come out in bad ways. And that's what the strength reverse is suggesting. And it seems like today there might be a flare up or a strong urge or temptation to act on this feeling that is bubbling up. And if you do so, there will be unintended consequences, and things might start to move and shift faster than you thought. You might want to just make this expression and then, okay, you got it out of your system, but it won't just be that. There will be more that happens as a result that you didn't expect. And what you want to do instead is figure out a way to express your feelings in a way that is going to be good for you and good for the people around you. And also that respects whatever it is that happened in the past. There might be somebody that you want to lash out at who didn't actually play a role. It's not their fault that this happened, but maybe they were involved somehow. They were just near the situation. And so you find your anger directed at them, but that's not the right place to direct your sadness or your anger, especially with the Knight of Wands in reversed. It suggests to me the sense of things being pushed into the wrong direction. And so I think your anger or your sadness and whatever urge you have today to act on it is probably misplaced. It's the wrong person or the wrong place or the wrong time or the wrong group that is going to maybe be at the wrong end of your anger or your sadness. And it's because you want to blame somebody and you want to express your feelings somehow, but think about whose fault it really was and who really deserves some kind of statement or expression, and then direct your feelings appropriately instead of just lashing out at whoever might be nearby or involved somehow. And that way, hopefully you can avoid whatever misplaced anger or unintended consequences might be represented by the Knight of Wands in the future if you act on these impulses or on these feelings of anger or sadness that might be boiling up today. So if you enjoyed this reading, then subscribe to see more. And if you'd like to learn more about tarot cards or try some of my online guided readings, then head on over to foolskey.com where you can check that out. Thanks for watching and see you tomorrow.